Hey, what's up, Internet? This is Clinton Davis, and I have come prepared, and this video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do, because I was going to do a story on how Donald Trump's manufacturing policies would affect Chinese/American co-productions and animation and so forth, but when I went to his website, normally campaign websites have like multiple paragraphs long explanations on their policies and how they will implement them, but Donald Trump's campaign website has, I shit you not, 45 seconds or less, sometimes even 15 videos on things we need to do without explaining really how he would do them or why he would do them. So that's off the table. Then I was going to do a story about, I was going to do an update on the Sausage Party story, but the Daily Dot article that I initially thought would help me with that actually ended up not really bringing anything to the table, so that was off the table. So now I'm going to do why Clarence is the greatest show you're not watching. Now, I try to watch everything that Cartoon Network puts out because they're just overall great, but you know, shows like Adventure Time, regular shows, Steven Universe, they get a lot of praise, but one show that I think is never involved in those talks of praise is Clarence, and I think that's a shame because it's a great show. Clarence depicts every character in the show in a compassionate light, and there are really no characters that you're supposed to hate or characters that you're supposed to love, and that's kind of nice because there's always like a villain protagonist kind of thing that was kind of popular in television up until recently, and now you're kind of seeing where characters are depicted in a more compassionate way, and there aren't really protagonists or antagonists. It's just kind of stories about people, and I think that's really nice. You're seeing it in Clarence, Orange is the New Black, you're seeing it in, you know, everything that's coming out recently. Those are the two examples that I think really shine a light on, and I think another show from the past that really followed this method was Hey Arnold, and that's one of my favorite shows of all time, so I'm glad to see that kind of story writing coming into modern television the same way it did in Hey Arnold. Clarence was originally the story of a quirky little boy named Clarence and his two friends Jeff and Sumo, but the show later evolved to be much more than that and actually tell the story of an entire elementary school class in a school called Aberdale Elementary. Some of my favorite episodes revolve around one of Clarence's best friends, Sumo, and Sumo tries to do his best in school but can never seem to do anything right, which is something that I can definitely relate to. This is going to be a list of some of my favorite episodes. Spoilers ahead if you haven't watched the series, which get on that if you haven't. In the episode Space Race, Belson and Sumo are at risk of failing school and being put into summer school, and so they're both put in charge of being the leaders of their own individual rocket building teams for a class project. Now Belson just cheats and goes ahead and buys a rocket because his parents are really rich, but Sumo decides he's going to do it on his own, and after they do the launching of the rockets, Sumo's team ends up being the only rocket that didn't launch. And he's really sad about this because he thinks he's going to go to summer school, and then his teacher, Miss Baker, goes and tells him he will not go to summer school and that some people are going to cheat in life, but he tried his best. And I think stories like that in television are important. I think Clarence and Orange is the New Black are two shows that are really good at telling, you know, a story from multiple different people's perspective, and it ends up having people have more empathy for those characters. It's something you really can't get in real life because you're only you and you can't live as other people. Another really great episode involving Sumo that I didn't mention earlier is, I don't remember what the episode is called. I didn't prepare for this one, but it's an episode where Sumo feels inferior to his older brothers, and his brothers are bullying him, and he decides to build a boat. And he does it to impress his dad, and he ends up not building that great of a boat, but his dad is proud of him anyway, and it's a really compelling human compassion story. In the episode Plant Daddies, the kids are assigned to take care of a plant for a project. I know from this video so far, it seems like the show is just about class projects, but I promise you it's not. There's way more to it. So the class is assigned to take care of a plant, and Kimby gets separated from her friends because the teacher assigns the groups, and she's put with Chelsea. And initially they don't think they'll get along because they're very different people, but they end up being so interested in each other's talents mid-episode that they become great friends. I think stories like this are important in kids' TV, even though that Clarence isn't really necessarily an educational show. It teaches kids that they can become friends with people that they originally didn't think they would be friends with. I know a few of my fellow liberals could learn from that. In the episode Rough Riders Elementary, the school is bought out by Clarence's favorite restaurant, Rough Riders Chicken. And they end up feeding the kids really unhealthy lunches because it's a fast food restaurant, and a lot of the school gets a lot of big changes that are not necessarily positive. And at first Clarence is really happy about this because he loves Rough Riders Chicken. It's his favorite restaurant, but he ends up seeing all the changes, and then the school ends up, going back to being Aberdale. But I think it shines a light on the issue of privatizing businesses that shouldn't necessarily be privatized, which I think Orange is the New Black does a really good job at that in their newest season as well. I'm referencing these two shows a lot because I think they actually are very similar, more similar than most people would realize. So these are just some of my favorite episodes. I think everyone should watch the show, and if you get the chance, and watch all of the episodes, including but not limited to the ones I just mentioned. And also, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I really would appreciate some more feedback. And also, if you're still watching this video, as always, I love you more than my emotionally detached personality will allow me to express, and that frustrates me deeply. So this video is a little different than the ones I usually do. If you like this, I can go ahead and make more, I mean, there's a lot of slow news days where I don't know what to think of, and I eventually come up with something, but I could do more like this. Maybe some audience Q&As, stuff like that. Just really, I can broaden my horizons, and hopefully, if this channel keeps growing, I can go on to do, some daily content as opposed to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll see how that goes.